Begin transmission. Hello, everybody. It is Chris and Ben here with Outer Rim Transmissions, episode 207. This week on the podcast, we are having a bit of an update about the state of Star Wars collecting in 2025. There is a new Death Star for Lego on the horizon, as well as a new Haslab that has also been funded. So we're going to get into that. And, these things are a little pricey. So we're going to have the discussion of, okay, is it too much money at this point? Who's still collecting out there? We're going to get into the weeds with it. And there's another cool story we'll talk about off the top, but I'm going to throw it over to you, Ben. I know you've been busy on your end with personal things, but how's your Star Wars in your life been lately?
Yeah, I mean, it's been good. Still, of course, always having different Star Wars discussions and seeing good bits of Star Wars content from content creators and things out there. So, that's always a good time. In my opinion, actually, I guess since I didn't really review it, when we were on, since we were busy with actual Star Wars news over the last few times that we've been on here, I guess I'll just give a little brief review because I finished the Lord of the Sith, like the Vader book from Legends. And that book was really good. It's a great audiobook. And basically it takes place 4 weeks after Revenge of the Sith. And you have Vader, basically he's getting used to his suit, so you really get the inside track of how brutal Darth Vader's suit really is. And then on top of it you have the whole book, you actually start out, there's a lead Jedi in the series, and you start out pre-Order 66, it leads into Order 66 and perfectly transitions to where Vader's the main character eventually in the book. And it's cool because you see that you get the Emperor involved, and then it's great because you have these ancillary Jedi that we've never heard of. They're book exclusive Jedi that are in this book.
Oh.
And but you're still, yeah, because I even looked just to double check for Legends references for that, and most of those Jedi, even this one chick that's a Padawan, she survives and escapes, but they never used her in Legends again. So a lot of the characters were isolated to this book, but it was cool because by the end of it, the lead Jedi that gets killed by Vader, he starts putting pieces together and finally gets the idea that this is Anakin, because he identifies his fighting style, they've just all those sorts of things. And then you even get characters in the book too, like Bail Organa's in the book. He's in there, and he knows for a fact Vader is Anakin actually, which is really cool because because of the whole Order 66 stuff. Because of he heard it from clones or whatever talking about Lord Vader.
Yep.
And he put it together between Obi-Wan and Yoda's conversation.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it was a really good book, and I definitely recommend it to anybody. And I feel hey, perfect transition with Milton popping in. And I feel Milton, I'm sure, has read that book over the years. Milton, the Vader book from Legends that takes place a few weeks after Revenge of the Sith. I was just talking about that, and that book's a great book. So yeah, anybody that wants a really good Vader book to get a good character study of Vader and everything, I would definitely recommend that book.
Now, Ben, I think you might have got the name wrong because Lords of the Sith is a novel in canon.
I got him switched around.
Paul S. Kemp. Yeah. I think you're talking about Lord of the... No, there's another Vader title book. I know.
Rise of Darth Vader, I think it's called, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's the one.
Okay, yeah. Okay, whatever the Legends Vader book is, it's from 2011 or I think 2010 or somewhere in that range, 2009. But yeah, that book's definitely an excellent book, that's for sure. And it's great because the thing about it is, to add in there, I'm sure that you would appreciate, Chris, is so you have Vader externally when he's dealing with people around him and whatever, he's the tough, mean guy Vader. But then when he's his inner monologue, even the I don't remember the voice actor who was doing, or the narrator who was narrating it, but when he was doing the inner monologue for Anakin, he was talking in more of the Anakin voice, and he was being how George said, Vader's pathetic and all this stuff, and he was showing the really weak side of Vader. You know what I mean? Where it's like he was like, complaining about the Emperor to himself, why he's holding him back, and like how painful the suit is and all this stuff. So you actually get to see, Vader isn't just this big tough monster, basically.
I think you're muted, Chris.
Yep.
Oh, there we
you're
go.
muted.
Yeah, I'm doing some
There we go.
production stuff in the background. I'm trying to mute all the
Ah.
clickety click stuff going on in the background. But I'll take a moment to interject for a moment. But because there's the 2017 comic by Charles Soule, and that does a really good job of, again, like you're explaining with this book. It's like, okay, getting into the head of Vader, Anakin, still Anakin. It's like transition period. How is it in the suit? All this stuff, because I'm so hyped because in 2 months' time, about November, we're getting from Adam Christopher. The next big Star Wars novel is Master of Evil, which is basically
that's
the
why I
same
wanted
territory.
to read this book.
Yeah,
that's why I wanted to. That's why I wanted to read this book. To kind of like get prepared for that book. Even though it's Legends, it's still kind of the same time period and stuff.
Yeah. So, oh man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Did the Eagles win?
Yes, we did.
All right, there we go. I was right in the world.
We did win.
There we go.
Yes.
I know it was getting close at the end there.
Yeah, as much as I like the 4:30 games, I wish they started at like 4.
Yeah.
But hey, we'll take it. It is what it is. Kansas City 0-2. We're 2-0. This is all that matters.
Nice.
Crazy seeing the Chiefs 0-2.
And with that, we are back online. All right, well, we've been online the whole time, but now that the actual podcast, we can see each other again. Okay, cool. So Milton, it's been a while. It's been a while for all of us because it's been a couple weeks. So how is your playthrough? Have you played any more of Jedi Fallen Order? What's the update on that?
No, not the last couple weeks. I just thought about it the other day. I think these last couple weeks I've been pretty busy with like family stuff, but I think as things start to slow down and before we get to the holiday season, I hope to at least take a couple weekends or maybe a couple evenings to get back into playing it. Like we spoke last time when I was here. I love the gameplay. I love the storytelling. I'm excited to see how it plays out. I mean, I know the story itself and how it looks and how it's going to end, but it's going to be nice to play it and get a feel for what that story looks like via sitting there and experiencing it for the first time as a player. Because you guys spoken very highly of the game.
Oh yeah.
Thus far, it's been great. So I think it's been nice that I've taken a break from it. So it's going to be nice when I get back into playing it, more consistently for a couple weeks.
Oh yeah. So, what else is new as far as Star Wars? Have you delved into, listened to anything, watched anything lately?
Honestly, not really. I think I've been like when I go to bed, I tend to do my audiobooks,
Mm-hmm.
to relive those, but nothing per se in the sense of, anything new that stands out. I think I did see something. I think I saw an article a couple days ago talking about something like why the Acolyte was canceled,
Yep.
and stuff like that. But I mean, other than that, though, I haven't really dove much into Star Wars itself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to tonight's topic as I see that we're going to talk about, Star Wars becoming too expensive in 2025. I think that's a very interesting topic because it's something that we've talked about, I think, for the last couple years about whether it's merchandise, whether it's film productions, amusement parks, exotic trips that they try to plan or like exotic retreats that they try to do with the whole boat or hotel situation. So I'm curious to see what everyone's thoughts are going to be as you broach this topic tonight because I'm very curious to see how that looks.
Oh yeah, it was funny. I was at work earlier today. I have one friend at work that often will join us in the chat, and I was already getting heated into the moment. I was like, all right, I can't say too much more because I feel like I'm saying so many good things just by talking to you. And she starts laughing. I was like, I gotta save this for the podcast. I gotta save this. And she's like, I'll be there. So if you're listening,
Can't give
that's
away all
great.
the podcast details.
Yeah, I can't give everything away. Can't give everything away. Oh man, and it's cool because my first thing I'm gonna get into now actually for my week in Star Wars actually delves into our main topic of merchandising because it's really I was trying to get the pictures up as we're speaking. I'm clicking around. If I look like I'm looking elsewhere, it's because I'm trying to upload the pictures I took. Because I went to, for the first time, I was in the Bronx with a girlfriend and her father, and we were walking around. I was like, oh, there's like a toy store like on the main boulevard of this city island, which is like this 1 mile little island, like right off of the Bronx. It's like a one bridge that gets there. It's the only way on the island. It's a really quaint, like little cool. Feels like a seaside, like little town. But and I want to make sure I give credit where credit is due for the actual name of the place. Let's see. The name of the place was Dan's parents' house. That's quite the shop name, and it felt like that. It felt like you were walking into somebody's basement in a way, and you were suddenly being aware of all the nostalgia hits. And dang it, if I can't get these pictures uploaded, because I would love to share them with you guys. Because I was having a ball. I was walking around going, oh my gosh, I had this figure. I am getting these Power of the Force, Kenner action figures.
I love those things.
Oh my goodness! I was seeing I seen like the spy guy with the long nose and the black eyes from A New Hope. That's going after Obi-Wan and all that. Whatever his name was, the Kubian. I think their species called a Kubo or Kubas or something like that. They had even like old Lego sets. I picked it up in my hands. The old TIE Advanced Hasbro Power of the Force vehicle that you could get, and you put Darth Vader in the cockpit, and I think it would even shoot like little projectiles out, maybe.
It did.
Yeah, see, so all these memories were like suddenly hitting me in waves, like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I'm seeing all this old stuff, and it was awesome. And then as I'm looking at this, and I do have something physical to show off here in a moment. As I'm looking at these awesome figures, taking a trip down memory lane, my girlfriend shouts from around the corner, "Hey, they have some old video game manuals over here. You want to check them out?" And she hands me, of all the ones, you guys know me too well. All the ones she hands me, and she knows me too well apparently. She hands me this one, and I'm like, holy crap, I'm buying this. It's $6. I don't care. I'm buying this thing.
That's the Nintendo 64. Yeah.
That's
awesome.
I actually haven't even looked into it until like right before we started recording because I was frantically looking for it. Like, this is just so fun because it's like that was back in the day when like Nintendo would fix like their cartridges. Like, we don't have these anymore. This is a relic of the past. I feel like I'm Indiana Jones right now. I'm flipping through. Just like this was so cool when you would buy a video game. I mean, at least I would pour over these things like all the little nitty gritty details of just like the controller outputs. Like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. The Outrider's right there. It's like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. TIE Fighter with the controllers.
I'm about to say you want to talk about like retro, because I know we don't have it anymore, but when we used to play 64, remember the strategy guides?
Yeah.
Like the old strategy guides. And so I know for with the Force Unleashed 1 and 2, I have the strategy guides still for those games.
Nice.
For PlayStation. They're actually in my storage unit because I remember, playing those games, and I mean, I could beat them without them, but those are cool documents and cool artifacts to have if you were a Star Wars fan, because not only did they show you where all the secrets were, but it was cool to just see like the artwork that they showed and how you can kind of peek behind the curtain a little bit. And even for Shadows of the Empire, I don't know I'm sure they had a strategy guide, but it'd be interesting to see if you can find that on eBay somewhere. I'm sure I could.
Oh yeah.
This is so cool, guys, because as I'm looking through this, they have every single level in the game. They have like a little like synopsis of like the story, and then they have like bosses, they have characters, they have like what you'll be doing, because in certain levels this is one of my favorite ones, like Maz Eisley and Beggar's Canyon, when you're on swoop bikes and you're chasing down the different goons of Jabba to try to get them before they get to Luke. And they even have like, I absolutely love this. This is so cool. I'm so happy. Like it's not just like, oh, I'm buying a usual action figure that came from like 1996. No, I'm buying a strategy guide from a video game. Like it doesn't get more
Sure.
freaking nerdy than that, but that's awesome. I love it. And that wasn't the end of the day because then we were walking around. I sent you guys a picture of this. We were walking around, and at one point we are like, "Oh yeah, let's go to this barcade." You always talk about this. I was talking to my girlfriend. It's like, "Oh yeah, why haven't we been here yet? Like I haven't been here yet. Why? Because this is like Nerdvana." It's like, "What time is this
Right.
place open till?" It's like it was almost 11. It's like, "Oh, they're open till 2 a.m. Oh, they're serving food. Great." And then we got food, and then it's like, "Oh, we're having pumpkin beer." And then next thing you know, I'm like, out of the corner of my eye, I'm like, "No, they don't." And they had the original Star Wars trilogy cabinet arcade game, and I'm like, "Oh, dude, I'm
So
playing
awesome.
the hell out of this."
Yeah. Yeah. It still holds up. I mean, the last time I played it was about 6 or 7 months ago. We were in Lancaster, PA,
Yeah.
at this place called Decades. It's like a bar
Oh,
slash gaming vintage place where they had that, and I know I beat that game in like 20 minutes. Oh, now let's say 30 minutes because like I was sitting there
yeah.
just kicking ass and
That's what
loving
I
every
felt
minute. And
like.
I always joke with my wife. I said if I had an opportunity to buy this arcade game, I'm buying it and it's going in our house. Like it's not even a question.
That'd be sweet.
It never feels old to me. I love how it reminds me of what's the one Star Wars game on PlayStation 1? It was like Star Wars like oh my god, it's like it was Star Wars like oh my god, I forget. It reminded me of that game so much. I have to look it
Like
up.
Power
But
Battles.
yes. No, not Power Battles. It was it
What
looks
happened?
like you're playing it was like, oh my god, I have to look it up as you guys are doing your
You
thing.
have
But
Masters of
that's what
Terras
that's,
Kasi. Um,
no, actually, no. Actually, I have it here. It's give me 1 second. I have it over here.
well, as Milton grabs that, yeah, I mean, those games though, I'm sure, like, gosh, Chris, like, it's just great. Like,
It
I
reminds me
think,
of this
oh yeah,
Oh,
Rebel Assault.
oh man, I haven't played that in years and
You
years.
remember this game, Chris?
yeah. Yeah, actually, I had that on the computer,
Yeah,
I believe.
yeah. It reminds me of that Rebel Assault 2.
Oh man, that was the game where we had a joystick. We actually had like
Yep.
the fighter jet joystick connected to the computer.
Yes,
That was so fun.
yes.
It was so cool because it was like the first game I think I played, and this was like at the time in the 90s as like a gaming historian. I'll just call myself a gaming historian right now. Um, like they had a lot of like that full motion video with the cutscenes where it was like actual actors like
Yeah.
in the
Yes.
cutscenes, and I was like, dude, there's like a Star Wars movie, and I'm playing a game to it. I remember that like vividly again. This nostalgia hit again is happening right now as we speak because I'm remembering. I believe there was a B-wing pilot with like one of the crazy helmets. I always think they're the crazy helmets that, like go around the head like that with the visor, and that guy was like just crash landing somewhere on this like a desert rocky kind of planet thing, and then you're on your foot.
Mhm.
You're on foot. And you're going around like one of those light gun games in arcade where you're like going back and forth between like the corner of a wall, like shooting stormtroopers and stuff like that. Oh,
Right.
I was able to pull the picture, so I'm just again. I already explained what these pictures are, but you see me. I'm holding the prized tie advance in my head. Like, oh man, this is good. I like to have that tangible feeling of just like, yep,
That's so awesome.
taking a trip down memory lane there. Whatever the heck this Lego set was, it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. They had so many other like non-Star Wars things too. Like
Oh wow.
They had like Lost in Space figures. I was like, I remember these things from the reboot. And
Yep.
like classic things like Cabbage
Yeah.
Patch Kids or Furbies or it was everything. It was all over the place. There was like
Yeah.
one more
My
thing.
my good friend, his nephew is still into Legos. He's what, like I think 12. And he has all the Star Wars figures that you can or Legos you can think of, and I'm sure they've probably spent about $1,500 to $2,000 probably in the last probably 10 years of Legos.
Oh yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the Power of the Force figures, I geek out about those all the time. because they still hold up. I see them all the time when I stop at a old vintage, game store or whatnot. Those commercials, the marketing back in the late '90s, early 2000s were amazing for those Power of the Force action figures, especially when they did the Phantom Menace. Right? Remember they did the Phantom
With the
Menace?
little scanner thing.
Yes, they did the Phantom Menace, a line of Star Wars figures, and then they brought the Power of the Force around that same time with the re-release of the new editions or special editions of Star
Mm-hmm.
Wars. Like it was a simple time back then, but I loved every minute of it. Like as a child, I think how jealous I was that I didn't have a majority of those toys.
Well, I'll say this, guys. I'm sure I can speak for all three, all of us here, and a lot of our other viewers and listeners that were late 20s or into their 30s and beyond age range. We all grew up in a perfect time for Star Wars Star Wars and pop culture in terms of all of this stuff. Because,
Yeah,
if you think about it this way, all right, back then, like you said, you had all these Star Wars toys and games. I mean, look, Chris is like celebrating finding a manual for a game for the love of God. So like we have these sorts of things, and then nowadays it's like don't even buy the video game, just download it on digital.
Yep.
Or it's like,
yeah.
what was it? Was it the Rise of Skywalker? One of the movies or productions barely even had any products, like barely any figures or anything. I think
I think it was Rise of Skywalker.
I think Rise, yeah, because Rey didn't have her Rise of Skywalker figure for quite some time, and it's just a lack of marketing, and it's just just like it's just a different venue because like so many people or a different avenue because so many kids like just want to play like games and stuff,
Right.
and it's not like people appreciating all of this like merchandising.
No, I
Yeah.
mean, I think you guys have all been to Comic Cons of some type. I mean, Chris, you've been to the celebrations. I've been to cons, and Ben has been. Look at
Yep.
all the people that are there at the booth selling. They're not kids that are younger than us. They're people
Yep.
that are our age or older that are selling the figures, the collectors, sets, all that type of stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's the current population who grew up with getting everything from the '70s to the mid 2000s, who are now older, who are adults or older, selling the stuff to kids younger than them or kids of their age or people of their age. So you're right. I think I'll be curious to see in the next 15 to 20 years what that trend looks like when it comes to now kids that are in their 20s
Oh
or
yeah.
let's say late teens, early 20s. Are they selling figures and merchandise? And when they're in their 30s and 40s and maybe 50s, you know
Oh
what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like, I'd be curious to see what that looks like.
That is
Yeah.
definitely what we're gonna get into. Um,
Yeah.
but
And
yeah.
before we get into it, Chris, I'm sorry. If you want to go on to eBay, I'm looking at a strategy guide right now for Shadows of the
Oh
Empire
yeah.
for about
Ooh.
15 to 20 bucks.
I got a good deal.
What Chris is going to be doing.
And then there's one here for $10, literally. Like, so go on eBay, look it up. You can find a whole bunch probably for cheap. So if you want to with the strap, I'm just saying.
Oh, a strategy guide, not the manual, like the strategy guide.
No,
Oh,
no, the
okay.
actual strategy guide. Yes,
Oh,
yes,
okay,
the actual
okay, okay.
strategy guide, which is like
Gotcha.
it's like a
Yeah.
60-page book that
Yeah.
shows you all the secret.
I
Let's be
actually
real,
might
that game is
have
hard.
one.
That could have some
Oh,
lore or
okay.
something in it, Chris. I don't know, a random book like that might have some random Shadows of the Empire lore in it.
Yeah.
There we go.
Alrighty then. So that is the beginning of the show, and we're gonna get into our major topic. But first, we gotta, talk about what came out this week, especially because we have a comic letterer in the house. We have Tyler Smith working for Dark Horse Star Wars Comics and more. So thank you for joining us in the chat. It's always a pleasure to have you and have you also on the on the Star Wars Underworlds YouTube channel because he's often
Nice.
with us with the Tractor Beam comic reviews that me and Matthew do every Wednesday. So good to see that crossover there. But yes, we are available to listen to on any podcast platform of choice if you cannot watch us live or after the fact. But we love to have you guys here live. We go live on Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Comic books that released this week, or just things in general. We had Tales from the Nightlands #1, and we also had Jedi Knights issue #7. And yeah, so that is what came out this week. We also, so we're going to get into the major news of the week here. And that is, we got a trailer. Now, I know you said you didn't see the trailer yet, Ben, no big deal, because there's like a
Yeah.
couple things. I know there's a trailer out for Beyond Victory. This is like the mixed reality playset, as they call it. So it's not really a game, even though I listened to an interview and there's like a 2 hour story thing in here. But this is like the pod racer thing as well.
Okay.
That was at Star Wars Celebration that had this massive line that I just didn't even bother waiting in. And it did have a comic that tied in with it from Marvel. But yes, we have this VR experience. And they showed a trailer. They give us new art. But the big thing from the trailer for me was a cameo, or maybe he's not a cameo because he's on the new key art. But Gracchus the Hutt. Gracchus the Hutt. Ben, have you heard of this character? He's in the last 10 years, he was like some of the comics. I don't know if you know about this Hutt.
Yeah, I think I remember you. I mean, I personally haven't consumed content with him in it. I'll admit that, but I think I've heard like you and I think Matthew, I'm sure, have talked about it before. I'm like, I'm sure I've heard you reference, because that character name sounds very familiar.
Yeah. So he is this Hutt that is around the time of, well, actually, he spans the time of, right after New Hope when we meet him with Luke on Nar Shaddaa, and he's around during like the pre Force Awakens days when he's like on this Megalox prison and it's like this Poe Dameron story. But he's renowned for, at least in the beginning when we meet him in the comics with the Star Wars flagship with Luke, Han, and Leia, they end up in this like gladiatorial arena, and this Hutt is known to collect lightsabers because this is the dark time, so there's like a lot of lightsabers floating around since there's a lot of dead Jedi that can't use them anymore. So he's like a collector of these lightsabers, and that's like the one thing that's really cool about this character is his appearances. He's like really ripped. He's a really ripped Hutt, and he's got these lightsabers on a necklace around his neck. So he stands out as somebody vastly distinct from like Zero the Hutt, or obviously different from Jabba the Hutt. But it's interesting because it's like this is our first like look at this character like on the screen. He's only ever been in the pages of the comics. He has now made the jump to the screen, which is really cool. But this brings me to the next point: is there's not going to be many people experiencing this story. It's just how it is. It's VR is a very, very niche thing, and it's even more niche in this case because you have to pay for the new Meta Quest 3 or the 3S, and you can't play it on like the old models, which I have, which is just I'm not going to go spend $300 and plus to play like a 2 hour thing. That's just not feasible. Plus, I've already been burned by virtual reality. I don't mean to make this a discussion of like virtual reality gaming, but it just never really took off. There was a couple of moments where it was like, oh, this could be actually the next big thing, but Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo definitely don't really delve into that, so it's not getting popular enough. Hence, the technology remains as more of like a enthusiast kind of market. So it's a shame, Okay, so apparently Tyler Smith owns a MetaQuest 3 and will be playing again. He'll let me know. That's what he's saying. Okay. I was going to say, we could just go on YouTube or Twitch, watch somebody on Twitch playing this thing to see what's happening, because that's probably what I end up doing, because I know a lot of people will go on like to watch a playthrough of like, for instance, like Jedi Survivor, Jedi Fallen Order, because it's a very cinematic game. Those are very cinematic games as Milton's playing through them. You can piece them together as a movie and it works. But yeah, I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on this, Ben. If you have any thoughts on this kind of experience, it's cool. ILM X Lab, they're trying something different. I don't know if you have any thoughts on this character being in this experience or anything.
I think for me personally, of course, I mean, I won't be able to consume the content just because of it being a VR type of game. But I think, I mean, for me personally, the only Star Wars VR content I really thought was like really crazy good was what was it, like Vader Immortal, I think it was called. Like that one looked really cinematic and everything, and that looked cool. But I think also it helps because it's like Vader and all that stuff. But like for this, it's just kind of like, I don't know. I feel like if you're asking people to like have to upgrade to a new system and all of these things, it's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like I would want some more of a banger thing, like I don't know, like a Boba Fett bounty hunting thing, or just something like with a more flagship established person. I think would help the idea of getting this. And then also for me, anyways, I can only speak personally, but I'm the type of person like I can't really play VR stuff because it gets me motion sick.
Yeah.
So I just don't even mess with VR stuff. So that's kind of like my little soapbox on that. So just I don't know, not really my cup of tea, but for people like Tyler Smith, it would be good to hear their reviews and like you said, watch some of the videos and breakdowns of it.
Yes, and I will interject real quick, taking it back to the comics that came out this week. Tyler Smith, sorry to forget about your involvement in the comic that came out this week. And I will say that me and Matthew really, I don't think you were on our stream that night. If you were, sorry if I'm repeating myself, but we both really enjoyed that comic story. So Tales from the Nightland, we are talking right now live to one of the creators responsible for that comic book. And it's basically, for those of you that do not know what Tales of the Nightland is, it's written by Kevan Scott. And it's also got the creative team of Sue Lee is the penciler, letterers Tyler Smith and Jimmy Belancourt. Colorist is Sue Lee. Cover artist is Francesca Francavelli. Editor is Spencer Cushing. So there you go. I think that covers everybody involved with the comic book. I want to give credit where credit is due. But yeah, we enjoyed that comic. It's basically, think of like a Star Wars ghost story at Lesu, the capital of Ryloth, and you have a young Obi-Wan with the master of Obi-Wan right after Phantom Menace. So first of all, that was awesome because we don't get to see stories like that often of that time period between Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. And they get involved with this ghost thing, demon called a Nightlander that starts haunting everybody. But it's a really cool, like, cautionary tale where it involves Anakin trying to be the good kid, trying to not deal with the bureaucracy of like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do this. He wants to be a good person, helps this girl try to reconnect with her dead grandfather, and stuff goes wrong. And I don't want to get too much into it because that's going to spoil it, but I will say definitely recommend picking that up. Very good work. Tyler does great work. I always shout him out because the Bad Batch comics were some of my favorite that he worked on, because he just does great stuff with the lettering as far as like making everything pop on the page, and just the design work of the actual letters and making them actually feel like the sounds, like the way they're written. So really cool stuff there. But I just wanted to give him a quick shout out just before we move on here. But I mean, there's going back to the Beyond Victory. There is Sebulba in the game, and this is taking place around the time of Solo: A Star Wars Story. So that's interesting. It's like, okay, we know Sebulba is around because it was in one of the Young Reader comics. I think it was IDW. But anyway, yeah. So Milton, I don't know if you have any thoughts on this experience or anything like that.
Honestly, not really. I mean, you guys are more into comics than I am. I've never really got into Star Wars comics, and I think as a fan, I probably should start exploring that more. I know you told me to read the Darth Vader comics. It was a Vader Down years ago when it came out, and I think I read a couple issues. Um, and I know we talked about some High Republic at some point, but I was never a comic guy when it comes to Star Wars. I don't know why. It never drew me into it. Like I never got into it.
Oh yeah, I get that. Also, Milton, I think you missed the part of the. I think Chris was meaning. What are your thoughts on like this new Star Wars VR game? He was meaning.
Oh, I'm sorry. And I heard you.
Oh, yeah.
It's all good. I was letting you go.
I was like,
I was just like, hold on. I gotta have Milton's opinion on that.
It's okay. It's all good. VR. I've never done. Didn't they do that one Vader VR thing a couple years ago?
That was great. That's called Vader Immortal. I love that experience.
I've never done it, but I've heard people that said that they liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I know it's funny with my work, we started utilizing VR
Oh,
technology. Um,
Interesting.
so I'd be curious to now actually, because I liked how it played out, and I had a friend of mine who actually their son has VR for their PlayStation, and I'll be curious to see what it'd be like to play Star Wars in that medium.
yeah.
So I've never done a Star Wars game with that, but what I've been told is actually pretty cool to play a Star Wars game with that medium, and it works out very well. You feel like a part of the world.
Yeah.
So
And
sure, I would love to play it. I've never done it before, but I'd love to try it.
yeah. Tyler in the chat is very much an enthusiast because he's hitting the game that I think uses it the best, and he says Squadrons was amazing. I second that.
Mm,
Playing Squadrons with the VR headset, put it this way, you are not getting the authentic experience playing that game with a controller with like a flat screen. Like you
okay.
need, if you're like anybody that will play that game with the VR, it's ultimately like so much of almost another experience. And even adding to that, if you're wearing headphones, if you are using the throttle and the stick, then that is a transcendent experience almost, because then you're completely immersed as you've never probably been in Star Wars before that way. Like it's just surround sound, like looking around. Oh my gosh, the TIE fighter's behind me. It's on the side. I can see it. And I can turn and shoot it. Crazy stuff there. And that's what bums me out about. And the last thing before we move on, what bums me out about this experience, and I haven't played it yet, so I can't really review it or anything like that, obviously. But from what I've seen, I'm a little bit disappointed that it's a pod race game. But when you control the pod racing, the pod racers, you're looking at them from like a tabletop view. You're not like in the cockpit. You're not looking in first person. So I don't know if that decision was like maybe like Ben said, maybe at that speed, like you can't use that in VR because maybe that literally like makes people throw up. It's possible at that
That would be
speed, right? If
me.
you're going like 100 miles an hour in VR,
Right.
like that might actually play havoc with your system if it's in first person. But if you're like looking down at objects flying, like a regular third person game, maybe it's like more feasible that way. I know with this thing they're using augmented reality, so like you can see like figures like in your room that you can place as like a little decoration mini game. You can like put a stormtrooper like in my background and nobody can see it unless you're using the VR. But it's there on the shelf kind of thing. So that is what ILM is kind of pushing. But I'm still disappointed that it's like, oh, we couldn't figure out how to do a first person pod race game. Like that's what everybody really wants. I would
Mhm.
consider like maybe investing if they had something that cool in it, but I could trade in my old VR and maybe get some money towards it or something like that. But we'll see when it comes out. Maybe we'll hear what Tyler has to say about it. I'll watch some YouTube videos about it and maybe we'll report on that. It is coming out in October. The beginning of October, this experience is coming out. So be on the lookout for that. I want to give the exact date here. I know it's around here somewhere. Let's see. MetaQuest. I just October 7th. It's coming out October 7th for everybody that is interested. All right, getting into our actual topics. The reason why I spurred on this entire topic for tonight is because we have two really expensive Star Wars pieces of merchandise coming out. The first one is a $1,000 Ultimate Collector's Edition Death Star from Lego. This marks it as, I believe, the most expensive Lego set of all time, definitely of Star Wars. Have you guys gotten a chance to look at this set at all?
Um,
I'm looking it up right now. You said it's $1,000.
Yeah.
All right, let me look at this. 'Cause am I going to lose my mind when I see this? Oh my god! Like I'm gonna like this is it
I'm gonna toss it up on the
okay?
stream here. Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
toss it
because
up
I
on
just
the
want to make sure
stream.
I'm not tripping. I want to make sure I have the most accurate information before I punch someone in the face. Um, yeah, this is insane. 6,500 pieces.
how long would that take you to put together? Actually, too. That's another question.
I don't know. Like, and don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not even trying to like disrespect, you know, Lego and all that. Like, because we all grew up with Lego. If you didn't play with Lego, something wrong with you as a child.
We grew up with $20
like,
sets.
That's what I'm saying. And so, like, look, I'm glad like Lego is still popular. It's still relevant. You know, I don't think it's always going to replace. I think it's very timeless. But $1,000 on a Lego set, I'm sorry, it's
Yeah.
not worth it.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm looking at it. I mean, it looks cool, but you set it up and you let it display forever. Like, I would like to. No, it's not worth it to me. Even though it looks cool, man. Like, I'm sure someone's gonna yell at me for saying that, but there's no. This is ridiculous. I mean, it's gorgeous. I can't get mad at it, but for $1,000, man, no. I'm sorry. No way.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather spend that money to go to go to Star Wars Celebration.
I mean, you're not lying, man.
What about you, Ben? What do you think about this one?
I think I don't know. I just think it's a bit excessive because my thing is, all right. So like with Legos, I mean, heck, back in the day, even some of those like crazy big sets, like at most they would be like maybe 300 or something, or 400 for like the big Master Death Star or Star Destroyers back in the day. And now we're like cranking the prices more and more. And to me, it's like it's like you're squeezing the audience, like you're trying to like squeeze the people that spend the most money versus like casting a wider net, in my opinion. Because I think if you would release something like this and say if it's $300, I think you would get probably 100 times the amount of sales you would on an $1,000 set, just because it's like it's such a big ask. Like you said, Milton, I think your point was hit a nail on the head. Unless you're like a true like collector fiend, whether you're a content creator who centers your channel around that stuff, or I don't even know, like if you have a collector shop where you display things, you set it up one time and you're done. I mean, what are you going to do with a 6,500 piece set? And on top of it, another thing I don't think you mentioned, Milton, even was like the dangers of having that out. What if you have nieces and nephews over and someone bumps it and it gets obliterated like it did in the movie? So it's just kind of, I don't know. I would have too much anxiety. What do you say?
Was that in Spider-Man, right when he knocks it over?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think that was in Spider-Man. Actually, now that God, that was just in the back of my mind, I guess. But yeah, so like that's kind of like my thing is like I'd have anxiety having that set out on display. I'd be like, nobody can enter this certain room of the house.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just.
So like if this is a benefit for again watching the YouTube
Right.
video, because I'm scrolling through the entire page you can see on the stream currently. I mean, the cool thing about it is like it's basically a shell. So what this is, it's like you have the circular shell, and then you have all these like little miniature sets built in. So it looks like you probably have like close to like maybe 15 to 20 individual sets. So like you have the throne room scene with the Emperor and Vader and Luke, and then you have like the trash compactor scene. Then you have like the hangar bay, which is pretty neat.
The
Because
detail's
they give you a
phenomenal.
shuttle. Yeah, so they have like all these little parts, and this has like the most minifigures. There's a ton of minifigures, which they better give you that many minifigures if you're paying that kind of price. A whole bunch of stormtroopers. They have some really like deep cuts too in here. Like there's the bathtub stormtrooper from the Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga video game. Like there's crazy stuff like that as the minifigures in here. But yeah, it's like, okay, it's like you could just kind of make this yourself a little bit, and just they have a lot of these sets you could already buy individually, and you just kind of put them together that way. But there's the Ultimate Collector's Edition. These things are supposed to be expensive, but like, damn, this is a lot.
Right. So let me give you an example of the difference of price. So the first Lego set for Death Star was in 2008. Okay, that was 3,800 pieces, 24 minifigures. This is 2008. That's how much that costs in 2008.
Maybe $200.
400.
Okay.
That's 3,800 pieces. And it's a gorgeous Death Star. Now, the one in 2016, the updated version, was 4,000 pieces, 27 minifigures. That was $500. And then this one, I mean, that's oh man, I don't know. I don't know. I struggle. I mean, and
Yeah.
that's nearly what, almost 15 years ago when we got the first one,
Yeah.
and it's jumped up almost $600.
Yeah, like I'm looking
Like,
at the picture of this guy with this thing on the table. And if I walked into somebody's house like that, I would think like, oh yeah, maybe it's like $500. But 1,000 for
right,
that? Like it's
1,000,
cool, but it's not like that impressive to warrant that price in my opinion. I
right.
thought it would be bigger than that
That
if you're paying $1,000. Like
for,
the spaces would be like
before,
each little scene would be a much larger thing. I remember
Yep.
back in the
right,
day going over to my buddy's house and he had an actual like Star Destroyer that was like the size of like this his
Yep.
entire like
Remember the
table.
Star Destroyer?
Like that was
yeah.
impressive. Like this is like cool. It's like you just put a bunch of sets together. Neat. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Like, here's my justification why I'm acting like this, and this is, I guess, this is me being an adult for the last, how many years. That's a mortgage payment. That is a mortgage payment for a house. And Chris, you just got a house, Chris, or Ben, you just bought a house, and I just sold my house, and it's like I was paying literally $1,000 a month for a mortgage. I couldn't imagine paying just $1,000 for a Lego set that I'll put together over 6 months, display it for the rest of my life, and always have to worry about my nieces and nephews who's 3 and 1, who can't stop touching everything
Yep.
Yep.
and then destroying it. And then I might have a conniption fit.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. Now, if I was a collector, like there was a Rancho Obi-Wan or someone like that, that makes sense because they have the capital
Yep.
to literally buy that piece, put it together, display it in a museum, and make
Yep.
money off of that.
Yep.
Me, the three of us here. I mean, I don't know if it's worth it.
Yep.
If it's worth it, go ahead. I can't fault anybody for spending the money that they want to spend. I just can't do it. I'd rather
Yeah.
spend that $1,000 on going to Star Wars Celebration or to, like, a San
Yep.
Diego Comic Con or something like that.
Yeah.
I just, like you said, I think it's like, it's so tough because like, we're all in our 30s, so there's different expenses and things.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not like your content creator, like you said, if you're not Rancher Obi-Wan, or if you're not whoever, like if I was someone, hey, here, if he does a series on this, give me credit. But like if I was like Star Wars Theory, for example, a big channel, you're making good money and having a great career, I would do a whole series, like a 10-part
Mhm.
series of you slowly building this set or something, because that's content that generates income and that would eventually pay for that set in the long run. But someone
Right.
like all of us who are like on the up and coming when it comes to content creators and stuff, there's no room for expenses for those types of things. So it's just like, it's a tough ask, but I will say, like, to like give them credit on it, like we mentioned, there's good detail in this and stuff, even though it kind of does look like a bunch of sets put together. At least there's plenty of figures. So
Right.
because I remember, a couple of years ago there was like, I think it's actually, it might be connected to our other collector item you're going to bring up, Chris, but one of the Haslabs, or one of the sets that came out a couple years ago for Haslabs, they had like, it was like $400 or $500 for something that only had like two figures with it. And it was like, what in the world is going on here? Like, some of these collectors things are skimping on stuff. So it's just, at least this Lego set has plenty of figures and plenty of detail.
Yeah. So speaking of which, the next item you are referring to, Ben, is HasLab's next project. This did get funded literally in the 11th hour. I am not even kidding. They needed 8,000
Really?
backers. At one point, I was looking a day before, and they were short by almost 2,000, I believe, at the time. It was evident that this thing wasn't going to pass. I was like, okay, this is probably going to fail. I was shocked the next morning when this thing passed. And that is the Vintage Collection here on the screen. The Vintage Collection Republic Gunship, LAATI Gunship. It is going for $449.99.
Mm.
And guess how many
Wow.
figures this thing comes with?
3.
less too.
Oh wait, I think
Bro.
this was the thing I was talking about because I remember Star Wars Santa talking about this maybe a month or two ago. Yeah, so this was what was in the back of my mind. What do you
Dude.
think of that, Milton? 2 figures.
It ain't worth it. No, listen, I'm not trying to be weird. Like if I could, I would buy every Lego set for Star Wars or every vintage Star Wars figure or whatever if I had the time and that was my profession. Would love to do it. But if I'm going to spend money, if I'm going to spend a couple $100 on a Star Wars figure or a set, if I'm going to get like a Millennium Falcon or even this, I need at least a freaking army of figures that can go with it. You know what I'm saying? Like at least want to justify, okay, $500 you're getting the ship, the figures, the extra things that come with it, the ammunition, whatever. Like if you wanted to make it feel very immersed, give me extra things. Like what is this $500 really paying for?
Well, let me ask you guys this. I'll throw this question out to either of you. Now, or I guess we'll start with Chris. What do you think? So, say we have 2 figures here for let's just say $500 with the ship and everything. But would you be more enticed to buy something like this? Say if it had I don't know, like a platform that came with it, for a ground area with the arena post, a couple of the creatures,
Mhm.
and like say a bunch of droids, bunch of clones, Obi-Wan, Padme, Anakin, Yoda, and some random Jedi, Dooku, Jango, etc.
Yeah,
Like, would you guys be more enticed if you had kind of like an arena playset to go with it for 500?
Yeah, I think
easily.
so. Okay, so there are. Whoa, let me tell you this, guys. So with we'll get to that question in a second, Ben, because this
Yep.
might answer it a little bit.
No.
So I'm shocked because they actually have 10,541 backers as we see. Their target was 8,000, which unlocks now they have the first of 3 tiers for additional figures. Um, these are the figures that nobody effing cares about. I'm sorry, guys. Like, who cares about
Yeah,
Coleman Trebor? Who
Oh wait, he's
cares
the
no
about
one.
Sashi Tin? Who cares about Agent Kolar, which you need 14,000 backers for? Like, who did the research on this thing, man?
That's what
I
I'm
am
saying though. Like
shocked.
that's what I'm saying. Like who? No, like Ben makes a good point. If they said we're gonna give you this, and it's gonna come with guys we care about: Obi-Wan, Dooku, Anakin, Yoda, Mace
creatures.
Windu. Some of the like literally, if it was a Geonosis, play set that was like, oh, I'm buying it, bro. Like I can reenact episode 2. You know what I'm saying? Like that'd be
Yeah.
kind of dope. But like you're right. Who cares about these 3? We really don't.
That's crazy. Like, I I'm actually stunned because I genuinely didn't know those upgrade tiers, Chris, and that is
Yeah.
stunning. That is stunning that they gave especially like isn't Coleman isn't his only claim to fame he's the one that got blasted by Django, I think.
Yep.
Like so
Yes.
then give us Django Fett at minimum.
Yeah.
Like
Like
I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
seriously.
That's
I'm
Give
as
me
confused as
like
you
yeah.
are.
It's weird. Like I don't know. This goes back to I think whoever runs the toy division or whomever or whatnot is like you really don't have the pulse of the fandom, especially when it comes to like the prequels, for example. The prequel fans tend to be people that are our age or a little bit older, who fell in love with the heroes, who likes the villains, who don't really care about the side characters, and most of the side Jedi that really didn't matter. Yeah, Kit Fisto we can throw in there because he's kind of cool looking.
yep.
Um, but like that's it. Like we don't care about these randos.
So what would it like this? You look at this thing. I'm looking at it. We're all looking at it. You're listening to us talk about looking at it. You look at a gunship. This does not. Again, it's the same thing as the Death Star. This does not look like it's worth $450.
Mm.
Maybe a
Exactly. It's
hundred and
not.
fifty, and that's pushing it because
Yep.
like the only and I'm not gonna take credit for this, but the guys over at the Star Wars Underworld were also talking about this. They said what would make this really cool is if you had like the ATTE that would attach to like the bottom of this thing,
Oh, that
and
would be
then like
fire actually.
make it
Yes.
like a massive. That is worth like the $450. That's something
Mhm.
we've never seen
Yep.
before. You know what I mean?
Yes. That
And
makes sense because literally you're getting 2 in 1. and you can it's like the old do you remember the Batman figures like the Bat plane back in like Batman
Yeah.
Forever when
Mm-hmm.
you can take out the thing and it turns into like little ski boat
Yep.
and like or not the ski boat like little submarine that he had in Batman Forever when
Mm-hmm.
it gets blown out like
Yeah.
you had two in one like
Yep.
that's dope.
Yeah. And this brings me to my next point, next couple of points. They released this exact ship before that you could walk into a shop and buy it. Like this was available at Toys R Us, Targets, Walmart back in the day. I don't know how long ago. People have said they bought this and like Hasbro, like when they put the marketing out for this, they were like, "Oh, this is their big thing on the JPEG was 30% larger than previous model." It's like,
Mm-hmm.
so why are you even making this if you made it already? Just because it's a little bit bigger?
Yeah,
Like is
Yeah.
that really what's going to get people to buy this? I am shocked that this passed. I think there's probably a benefactor, a very rich benefactor out there that probably just like bought like 50 or 100 of these because they're a millionaire. They're like, I want to get this made. I'm going to spend all this money to get it through in the 11th hour because how does that happen? They were short for like
right.
well over 1,000 and then it just suddenly gets to 10,000. Like that's crazy. That's insane. And it's just
It's insane. Like it's
this is stuff that
now go ahead.
this is stuff that we'd expect to already see on the toy shelves. I don't understand
Yeah.
like something like this why this isn't just out on the shelves of Walmart. Make it mass produce it and maybe bring it down to $200 at the most with inflation these days and all that. But like
Right.
this is just this is crazy and that's kind of where this topic is from is between this and the
Hmm.
Death Star. It's like you're these things
Right.
are just like you're getting people priced out and Milton, you
Yep.
were hitting the head on this a little bit, hitting a nail on the head with this a little bit earlier in the conversation as we started the podcast, and I was like, I dude, to answer your question from back then, I don't think we're gonna get people selling Star Wars stuff anymore. I hate to say it, I don't,
No,
that new generation, dude, they don't care about figures. They
they
care
really
about
really don't.
Roblox points. They care about getting digital
Yeah.
things in video games. My niece and
Ends for
nephew,
Cal Kestis.
they don't own any Star Wars things. They like Star Wars, but they don't. I only bought them the things that they own, like for Star Wars. They
Right.
don't go out and say like us when we were kids. Hey, can mommy, daddy, can we buy this figure when we're at Walmart? Like they don't do that. So like, and then it's funny because I asked my friends. I'm asking you guys because we're all the same generation, millennials. Like, when's the last time you bought a figure, right? Like, I I haven't bought a
Yeah.
figure in a very long time. The only figures I buy
It's been a while.
occasionally is when I go to like Comic Con. They have like an exclusive figure. I'm like, well, I should buy that because it's at least a cool collector's item nobody else. I'm not going to Walmart once a month and like going to the shelves and buying like just a generic figure off the shelf. So
Yep.
like
Right.
even our
Let
generation, it seems like we have kind of got priced out because I don't know if you've paid attention, um, but the price of Black Series figures are just getting through the roof now. Like the 6 inch line,
through
it's
the
like
roof.
there's some figures that are like $40, like forty
Yeah.
Right.
dollars to buy. Like who's got the money to freaking buy multiple of these things? It's crazy. They used to be like $16 and now they're like 40. This
Yeah.
is insane.
Insane. So let me give you another good example of how ridiculous Star Wars is. Okay, Star Wars is a great IP when it comes to when it comes to all their property, Legos, figures, whatever. So we just talked about two particular pieces, Death Star for how many? What was it? 4,800 pieces or whatever for 1,000, and then we have this gunship that's barely any pieces for $500.
Yep.
The 1989 Batman Batwing Lego set. It's 2,363 pieces. Comes with a stand when you put the bat figure together, or the bat wing, and has three figures. Guess how much that is for 2,300 pieces?
Wait, what did
That's
this come?
$290.
Oh, okay.
This,
Dang.
this, this, this is the Lego 1989 Lego Batwing. Okay,
Damn.
$290 for a 2,300 piece set. All right, I'd rather pay that for than pay for the Death Star because that's reasonably
Yeah.
priced
Yeah.
for 2,300. So let's
Yep.
go to another Batman property, the Batman Bat Tumbler.
Oh yeah.
That's 2,049 pieces. Comes with two figures, a stand, and that's $400.
What?
Okay.
That's a
Yes.
lot of money for that. Oh my
It,
god.
it, it, no, no, it's a lot of money, but it's the tumbler where it's
It's iconic.
$400 compared to it's iconic, and that's a reasonable price too, I think, for what we're getting. But my point is, you look at the Death Star, that's $1,000. No way, I can literally get two of these things for the equal amount of that.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
come on, like that's insane though. Like, I can get a tumbler and a Batwing for about $700, and that equals the piece value is about 4,500 pieces altogether. Just
Well,
saying, and that's
that's the
less than a
thing.
thousand.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head there, actually, Milton. Is once you start comparing collectibles to other properties and whatnot, and it's just like then you start, it kind of chips away at the justification for purchasing something for like 1,000 for a collector's
Right.
item for Star Wars, for example. Like even like with me, you guys might have seen me my background changing earlier when I was walking out to grab one of my collector's items, and like right here, like I have, I have a signed. So this is an exclusive hilt. It's exclusive. It's a 1 of 500, and what it is it's a. Let me set this back in here. It's an exclusive signed Mara Jade lightsaber from the actress, or well, the model that played her, Shannon McRandall, because she was going through some health stuff, and she partnered with a saber company, and it was like a little over 300. But my thing was, with me being such a Legends fan, and I've never purchased like anything collectible in my entire life, I was like, well, this is a 1 of 500. She's one of my favorite characters ever, and it's like an actual hilt. Like this hilt I have, it's like literally like a heavy. It's a good weight. And the cool thing I like about like this sort of a collector's item, I don't know. I mean, the scale can't really. It's hard to tell on a video, but since she's a female Jedi, they made this hilt in a way where it would be like smaller for her hand size versus like me being a guy having a bigger hand like for the entire thing. So like they designed it for that character and stuff for Mara Jade, and it's like signed and everything by her. So like to me, that's worth it because it's by the person who played her versus like just some random Lego set.
Yeah, no, hey, we find, that's cool. That actually has resonance and sentimentality to it because it's got that extra thing to it. But yeah, I mean, getting back to this, it's like I'm wondering like who's buying this stuff, and it's what it is it's we're getting to the point of I'm trying to be sensitive with this as much as I can, but the more of the Generation X, I think these are the people that at this point of their lives, a lot of them have more of that dispensable income.
Yep.
And they're sort of like that last generation, the people from like the 80s and the late 70s that, they're obsessed, like they were obsessed as kids to the same degree that we were, with the action figures of the 80s and the 90s and all that sort of thing. So like, again, to go back to Milton's question, like what happens when, we become that age in the 50s and 60s and what's going to happen with the conventions? What's going to happen with all this? Because we really do feel like I think part of the problem is that reason why we're not getting this stuff is just we're getting priced out of it a little bit. Like Mill was saying earlier,
Right.
we have more expensive. We have mortgages. We have a lot of
Yep.
bills and all this sort of thing. And priorities take hold, and sometimes like these little things have to go away. But it's also the quality of them. It's annoying seeing, and I'll be going to a Hasbro panel hopefully in your Comic Con in a couple weeks. And you know, how much do we want to wager that they'll probably reveal another boring figure that we've gotten 10 variants already, like Darth Vader or another Luke Skywalker, another Boba Fett, like. I feel like specifically with Hasbro, like they don't really they claim that they have their finger on the pulse of the fandom, but they really don't. Like
They
when's the
really don't.
last time they've put out a figure where we're like, oh my gosh, I need that right now. Like they're just stuff is just
Yeah.
like kind of lame, honestly. I
The
don't know.
the
Right.
last time like I personally got excited over some figures, and I didn't even buy them just because it's like it's so much to ask for figures, is when a couple years ago when they revealed the Zahn trilogy Black
Oh,
Series figures.
Mm,
It was like $100 or $110 for like 3 figures or whatever it was, and I was just like, man, I'm the biggest Legends fan in the world, but like I just cannot pay $100 for 3 figures. It just doesn't make any sense. Like,
right.
I've seen it. I was tempted too because they had actually at Celebration Japan a 3-pack of the vintage figures of
yep,
Thrawn, of the Shorji, Sabath, and Pelion. And I was like,
yep.
ooh, should I get that? But I'm like, I'm already paying for the Star Wars Visions Ronin figure. I was like, that was already pricey enough for me. Sorry. And I looked at that price and I was like, really? Is 2 Black Series figures worth this kind of money? And I'm like,
Yep.
I'm in Japan. It's like impulse buy. It's like, dang it. It's culturally relevant. It's got like a cool box that's like cherry blossoms and this cool ribbon and stuff. I'm like, well, I probably should buy it. But I was not happy about the price. I did not think I got a bargain for the price. And I was like, geez, are Black Series figures always going to be $100? And, New York Comic Con is in a couple weeks, and they're actually going to have a Hasbro booth. I am shocked because they've never been there before. And they have a set of 2 Black Series figures of Mace Windu versus Palpatine in a chamber there. I bet you
Oh
that's going
dang,
for about $100.
easy.
So
Mm.
we'll see. We'll see if I
Well,
come home with that. I might decide enough is enough with this stuff because at this point I
I
do I do have space concerns of like what am I doing with this stuff anymore, and that's another reason why I stopped.
I do have a question to throw out there to you guys. Like, well, I mean, I guess you kind of just answered it without even knowing it, Chris. But I already explained some of my collectors with that Mara lightsaber. Like Milton, what would it take you to spend 100, 200, even $300 on a collector's item? Like, what would be a fair thing that you'd be like, okay, I have to have this. Like, this is fire. This isn't some Lego set that's gonna bust or whatever.
Mhm.
Like, what type of thing would get you to actually open the wallet, considering all your responsibilities and stuff, being married and being in your
Right.
30s and all that? Like, what would get you on board to purchase a collector's item, or what would be like your ideal collector's item to say for like 1 to 300, if we're going in that ballpark?
Um, yeah, that's a good question. I mean, if it was, I'll look at it both a sports related collection, a collector's item, and like a pop culture Star Wars or whatever. If it was something like, because I love the Eagles, if it was like an authentic Super Bowl ring or
Mhm.
whatever that's worth a couple $100, sure. I think I would spend that money because it's like, okay, that's timeless, it's authenticated, it's legit. Great, I'll spend a couple $100 on that. Or like, something with LeBron, Michael Jordan, or Kobe.
Yeah.
Um, for Star Wars, I think it has to be some type of like piece of memorabilia from like a movie set or like a TV show.
Mm,
So if it was like some like Han Solo's, Harrison Ford's iconic blue jacket from Empire Strikes Back, I'd spend a couple $100 on that because I love that blue jacket, I love that character, and I love that movie. Um, or if it was like Luke Skywalker's costume from Return of the Jedi, the all black outfit, is because that's
yeah.
an iconic look for him. I'd open the wallet for it. That'd be kind of cool because it's like, okay, that's authenticated, it's legit, it's costume worn. That's what I was spending money on. You know what I'm saying? But it had to be something that special. That's my point.
Hmm.
Yeah, not just a Lego set or something like
No,
that.
no. I think if it was some type of I'm trying to think what else would be a good. That's a great question. I wonder what you guys would say.
Hmm.
God, I'd have to think about that. I mean, I have that lightsaber, but it's like
Right?
maybe maybe you could pry a couple $100 out of me for, like you said, Milton. Maybe not even costumes. If you could give me like the blue milk cup from A New Hope or something, like from the movie, or give me
Mhm.
something really like just a little iconic thing. I mean, heck,
Yeah.
I'd even pay like $100 for, if they'd have I don't know, like maybe a piece of like Han's gun belt, or like, something
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
something that's cool, or like maybe a cut off patch from one of like the Rebels jackets, or just
Yeah.
something
Or
from the
the
movie.
or Luke and Han's like necklace at the end of New Hope when they get the medal.
Oh yeah, that, like something like
Yeah.
that I
Something like
could
that.
see. But I
Yeah.
just, it would take something very interesting. Or one thing I would love, I don't know if they've ever even sold it, it'd be awesome to find the communicator that 3PO uses when he's talking in A New Hope.
Ah,
The compactor scene.
Yes,
Like
that's a
something
good.
like
Yeah,
that. I would love that. I would pay $300 for that if that was for sale, because that would be really cool to have like that piece of exclusive merch.
yep.
But it'd have to be
right.
something along those lines. But how about you, Chris? Like what would make you like shuck out like 100, 200, $300, whatever, for like a collector item?
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's a good idea. Like something that you could wear that's more present in your life a lot of the times.
Hmm.
Something that you could, I don't know, something you could attach to a car or something. I don't know. I'm trying to think outside the box of like what's something you could be reminded of Star Wars every day.
I mean,
Something,
an actual R2D2 unit, that'd be kind of dope.
yeah. Oh man, with AI
Yeah.
now, with AI the way it is, like
Yes,
you could literally have like a droid now, pretty much.
yeah.
Guys, I'll throw one out for you guys. I think we'll all agree. If we could each pay, I mean, let's just push it to the max of this price range. Let's say $300. Would you pay 300 for a 20 20-second opportunity to take a picture and have a quick hello to George Lucas?
Uh,
Give me. I need.
30
Let's
seconds.
say 10 minutes. If you said 10-minute
yeah.
conversation,
Yep.
I'd do it.
See,
I paid $200 to say hi to Mark Hamill and shake his hand, and I got about 10 seconds from that. So
oh yeah, dang.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So let's crank it.
that's
Let's
what I mean. I'm like, I
okay, yeah.
don't
We
know if
we
I want
do
to
it
do
maybe
that
for
again.
10 minutes. Yeah, 10
If
minutes.
you said 10 minutes to talk to George Lucas, I would love to, because I would actually be like, okay, George, I'm gonna treat you like a normal human being. We're gonna have a discussion
Yep.
about what I know about Star Wars. I'm gonna ask you all these questions, and I assume he'll be open and willing to listen. He won't be like standoffish. So yes, I think I would spend that money to talk to him.
Oh yeah.
Completely
Yeah.
agree.
So I think that'll wrap it up for this week's episode, guys. Really good discussion. I said collecting in 2025 in this in this video title. So we'll probably revisit this at some point in the future, maybe 2026. See what kind of craziness comes through the ways of collecting a year from now. I mean, the thing is with the way the shipping of the world is, the U.S. current things with the tariffs and whatnot, things definitely haven't taken a hit, but we'll keep an eye on it. We're gonna keep an eye on this whole thing as we always do here when it comes to Star Wars. Um, Next week is a big week for us because next week it'll be 200 episodes of us doing this. I know it's gonna be episode
Oh,
208, but it was like 8 episodes of me or 7 episodes of me just like doing interviews and putting up as pre-recorded. It wasn't until it wasn't until episode 8 of Outer Rim Transmission that we actually made it a live show. So that's gonna be really fun. Um, we're gonna, acknowledge that next week, but then we also have something new to review on Star Wars next week. In case you've forgotten, we do have new Star Wars on the screen next week. That is Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy Pieces of the Past, a 4 episode, all streaming, all episodes at once on Friday morning on Disney Plus. So I'm gonna do my best. I'll have watched all 4 episodes. Um, I know it's kind of a short turnaround for us here to watch all those in 2 days, but I think they're probably like 20 minutes long. But anyways, we'll at least give first impressions. I'll give a review, and then we'll talk about those. But yeah, it is a crazy thing. 200 episodes pretty much already.
yeah. I mean, it's been a good time on the podcast, and we'll definitely reflect on some of it and whatnot, because it's been crazy. 200 episodes, and you know, plenty more to go.
Yeah. Yeah. So Milton, where can the people find you online?
Yeah, they can find me on X at Milton Weber 7 or on Instagram at Milton 7 Weber. Um, Hit me up on social media. I like to laugh, I like to have a good time. Just want to say this, guys. Listen, with all the craziness going on in the world, let's try to do better. Let's try to be positive. Let's try to just be there for one another, because it's easy to get caught up in the trap of negativity and what's
Mm-hmm.
being spread. Um, like, no matter what you feel, no matter what you think, just be a good person, just have respect for each other, and just try to do the right thing. But other than that, though, appreciate you guys listening, appreciate you guys watching. And like I said, you guys have a good week, and appreciate you guys being here.
Yeah, I appreciate those words. No, it's good to put it in perspective. I know people are going through a tough time. A lot of us are. So that's all it takes. We're all human. Let's all have Let's all enjoy each other's company. Let's have peace. That's what we want to
Right.
have. Let's get along either viewpoint, whatever viewpoint you have. We're all human. I love that message. Thanks for sharing that to our community. Ben, where can the people find you? What will you be talking about? Although I already know what you'll be talking about, you and Milton both, but go ahead, share it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just to completely agree with what you guys both said. Like, I think this whole week and what's been going on lately, it's just like you said, Milton. It's just, hey, let's like focus on positives and just be better to each other. Like, there's so much like discourse in the world over so many things, and I just think, I think a lot of people just need to just like to reflect on how they think about others and how they think about others' opinions. I guess even to apply it a little bit to our like not our specific community at Outer Rim Transmission, but just like the wider Star Wars community. Like you have so many like differing opinions on different things, and people get so offended and so mad about certain things, and like at the end of the day, it's just opinions. So like I think it's always good just to try to find like the bright spots of things and be
Mhm.
be positive when you can, and be accepting of others' opinions, because like I mean gosh, look at me and Chris on this podcast. We've have totally opposite opinions on Andor. I think it's not even Star Wars, and he thinks it's one of the best Star Wars things ever, and we're still really good friends, great best friends.
Yeah.
So like yeah, I just think that's something to remember. Just hey, be positive and look toward that sort of thing. But you can find me talking about positive vibes and football and Star Wars and fitness and everything else this time of year at Real Ben Maynard on X as well as Instagram.
Yep, and you can find me right here on youtube.com/Starrapter if you're listening. That's where you'll find the streams when we go live, and do hit that notification bell icon. Lately, I've just been putting up comic reviews every once in a while. I'll talk about DC over on X, on Twitter. You can find me talking about Peacemaker. You can find me posting skate videos. You can find me talking about video games and more random pop cultural stuff. But yeah, be on the lookout over the next couple weeks. We'll be having Comic Con, so I'll be posting pictures from there. But as we get closer, I'll break down a little quick preview of some things that might be worth checking out, Star Wars and otherwise. But yeah, that's gonna do it for episode 207. Pleasure as always doing the podcast with you guys and with everybody watching After Effects. Thanks for watching the video. Until next time, may the force be with you always. End transmission.